Righty, good morning, good, happy Monday morning to all of you. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to Win Your Week, Retail Leadership with Steve Worthy. Super excited to have you here again as we talk about moving into 2024, getting ready for 2024. I'm not a rapper, so I don't know, that just came out. Getting ready for 2024. That's not a rap. I don't know what I'm talking about. I hope you're doing well this Monday morning. Please let me know what you were up to this weekend. How were stores? If you were in stores, how did that look? Did you take some time to be a little selfish? Did you take some time this previous week to think about yourself, to think about anything that you may need to think about for yourself, closing out 2023 as you move into 2024. We'd love to know what you were doing this weekend. I'm going to look over here and just see if we have anybody. And we have a ton of people all over the place. YouTube, Facebook, and also of course over here on LinkedIn as well. So just making sure that we acknowledge anybody that wants to say something. Good morning to all of you. I had a great weekend. My football team, or as we say here in the States, our soccer team actually was able to kind of pull out a win this weekend. So pretty excited about that. We actually had a little bit of a hiccup in our, in our season, but it's the Premier League. What are you going to do? So now we actually had a win. Now we're back into our winning ways. So I'm super excited about that. A lot of planning for me over the last, 2 to 3 weeks. Trying to finish off the year strong and then move into 2024. Of course, and we'll talk here in a second about some of the things that we have going on as well, too. Want to make sure, before we move forward, make sure you go ahead and connect with us over here at our Worthy Retail News. This is our newsletter. So here's the thing, too. I've been thinking about changing up the name, like Worthy Retail. And Cher Jones has given me some really good perspective on what I need to think about changing. And I think we're going to do it that way. But I also just want to, get some perspective from you. So if you're looking at this live or you're looking at this on the replay, give me your thoughts. Right? And you've been listening to me for a while. You've listened to our podcast. You've attended this Win Your Week. You've attended our live streams, all these different things, our audio rooms. Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on what we may want to kind of change the name for the newsletter. Now, I do want to keep, the last name and maybe some of that stuff in there as well too. So just give me your thoughts. All right, I really greatly appreciate it as well too. So let's move into the inspiration before we move into some of the things that we need to let go of, so that we can move into 2024 in a really solid perspective. All right. I'm going to read the quote, and then I want to talk about Zig Ziglar here for a second. Don't become a wandering generality. Be a meaningful specific. Can I talk about Zig Ziglar for a second? Zig Ziglar was a salesman who started way back in the day, when I 60s and maybe 70s, of being a door-to-door salesman, right? I know probably you're like, what are you talking about, Steve? No, seriously, like door-to-door salesman. I get it often in my neighborhood, and you probably do as well. You get the guys and the gals that come knocking your door, and they're looking for business, and they're really probably either looking to sell me a new roof, lawn care service, or they're talking about hey, your neighbor down the street just got their the driveway repaved, and we want to do the same thing for you. So they're coming to my house, and they're asking for business. Think about it. That's very old school. It's very old school. But this is exactly the life that Zig Ziglar lived. He was a quintessential door-to-door salesman who became a highly sought after motivational speaker. And one of his favorite lines that he would often use was this one: don't become a wandering generality, be a meaningful specific. And I think it was 1996 when I was introduced to him in some of his books, and also some of his teachings as well. His son actually has a podcast that actually takes all of the learnings from Zig Ziglar and actually talks about it. And it's a great podcast, actually. I started listening to it like 6-7 years ago. It's an amazing podcast. So make sure you go and check it out. But this idea around don't become a wandering generality, be a meaningful specific, is something that over the last probably 5 or 6 years. Good morning, Jackie. How are you doing? I see you over there on LinkedIn. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. This idea about being a meaningful specific is something that a lot of people really need to get their arms around. And the wandering generality piece is that what he found, this is just exactly what he found, was that most people allow things and allow life to kind of just happen to them. They don't have a plan. They don't have a strategy. And he developed this mindset because when he actually had to knock on somebody's door, he had to become very specific and laser focused on connecting with that person. He had to have something inside of his persona that the other person could relate to, which would allow them to literally I shudder at this right now, to literally like have a stranger walk into their home, sit on the couch, and actually sell them something. Could you imagine that today? Oh my gosh, it just blows my mind. I get chills. I get scared just even thinking about that. But that's exactly how we used to sell back in the day. So he had to be very specific on who he was and what he wanted to get across. So that mindset kind of spurred this idea around not becoming a wandering generality. As a leader, as a salesperson, how do you create something very specific in your leadership? How do you create something that's a very significant and specific problem that you can solve, that your specific style of leadership solves? Here's the thing. We have to do all the things. I'm not getting away from that. As a leader, you still have to do all the things. But gone are the days of the generalist. Gone are the days of the generalist. Everybody has a resume like you. And dare I say, a lot of people have the same LinkedIn profile that you have. Same LinkedIn profile that you have. There's no specificity to it. And you wonder, and a lot of leaders wonder why they can't get that next amazing opportunity because you haven't stood out from the crowd, right? You're not a meaningful specific. You are blending in. You are blending into everybody else. And I understand it and I get it. But my job as a coach is to help people understand and figure out how to stand out by moving away, by decoding all of the information that you've received throughout your career and actually tapping in to who you truly are and who it is that you really want to be and what it is that you really want to stand for so that you can be a meaningful specific. These are the thought processes that I want you to think about as you move throughout the rest of this week. As you move throughout the rest of this week. Steve, think about this. Am I a generalist? Or what specific problem do I solve? Think about this because as you move into 2024, you need to have a truly better understanding of this. One of the ways that you can do this is to be a part of not just coaching, but you actually have to be a part of community. We are starting and launching the campus. It's January 10th. I'm super excited about it. And dare I say a little nervous. I'm nervous because when you are trying something that's bigger than yourself, there has to be some sense of nervousness. There has to be a sense of like, dude, I am super excited about this. And I want everybody that has joined and will be joining to extract the massive amount of value and also to develop an intent on what it is that they want to get out of the campus. Campus is that learning community. We focus in on action. We focus in on helping senior retail leaders become more profitable in their personal life and professionally. The resources that we currently have there, and the resources that we are adding, dare I say, are some of the best that are actually in the industry. We're very specific on what we put in there, what we talk about, and the solutions that we provide based on where you are and what you want to get accomplished as a leader as well. So I'm going to move over here too. So you can connect with us at the campus at worthyretailcampus.com. Let me refresh this. This is what happens when you go live. I can actually do this like that. All right. You can connect with us at Worthy Retail Campus as well too. So the other part of this is that on this coming Thursday, for those who have already joined, we actually have a campus tour lined up, but you actually have to be already part of the community to actually get this tour, of the campus. We will be talking about the resources. We'll be talking about some of the lives that we will be doing, some of the training and coaching that's already actually available inside the campus. So make sure you connect with us. WorthyRetailCampus.com. I don't know if I put a link in the notes, but I will make sure that I put one in there. But go ahead and check it out right now. All right. So there you go. We're just talking about that. I want to make sure that I refresh this and we have any comments that are coming up as well. I want to make sure that I say good morning to everybody. All right. Excellent. So let's move into this idea around things that you need to let go of. So last week we spoke about, I'm gonna move forward. Oh my gosh. Last week we spoke about things that we needed to hold on to, right? We spoke about the developmental discontent that you really wanted to hold on to, that idea that I am not getting developed the way that I really want to. I am actually not moving in the right direction from a leadership development, career standpoint, influence, ability to stand out, becoming a meaningful specific. There has to be this measure of discontent that you continue to have around where you are, because that's what's going to motivate you for action. Last week, we also talked about core values, making sure how do you create and establish and live by your core values, right? You got to hold on to those things as you move into the new year. And then also the last one was human connection. As we move into this world of AI is taking over so many different aspects of our life. And how do we actually make sure that we are still connected to human beings, that we're still connected via conversations, via dialogue, via relationships, right? How do we not let technology, right, move in and actually be the instrument that actually kind of divides us or actually separates us and moves us further apart from that human interaction, right? This is exactly why we're starting the campus, is because what we realize, even with our coaching clients, is that there has to be in the ability for you to engage at what we call the moment of revelation. In the context of when you are learning something, there is that aha moment, or there is a thing that I may say, when I'm coaching somebody, that I may say, and I can see it. I can see the change in that person's face. I can see it, and they're like, okay, they're like, Steve, you just said something. That is human interaction. That is human connection. That is that moment of revelation where you start to realize that, oh wow, this can actually change my life. This can actually change how I think. So making sure that you still have that human connection as you move throughout 2024. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's do this. 3 things to let go. Oh my gosh. Can I say I'm excited? Can you look at my face and see how excited I am to talk about these things? Once again, I just want to make sure that, because keep having to refresh the screen because I want to make sure that I get everybody, any comments that are coming up. 3 things to let go: being a generalist, imposter syndrome, and the myth of running out of time. Okay. These are 3 heavy ones. And I know I could probably do a show on each and every one of these, but I am going to make sure that I talked about all of these. I actually just spoke a little bit about the generalist. So we got to let go of being a generalist. Stop allowing your journey to just happen. You got to stop it. Okay, leaders, I get passionate about this because I see so many leaders that come to me that have so much potential, and when we have a conversation, I can just see the hurt in their face because they've allowed their careers to kind of just happen, and now they're at a point where they want to do bigger and better things. They want to be able to move forward and to move past where they currently are. When I first started in my leadership journey, I was a massive generalist. Listen to me. I was a jack of all trades. Because I felt initially that's exactly what I needed to do. I felt I needed to be able to touch and do each and every aspect of my job, my team's jobs, my business partners' jobs, everybody. I felt I needed to do all of that stuff. Now, once again, as I said earlier, you do have to understand how to do all the things. But at the end of the day, people are promoted based on some measure of specificity of who they are and what they actually bring to the table. When you are in an interview process, the thing that sets you apart is not being a generalist. It's being very specific on who you are and the problem that you solve for that company and for that role. You cannot allow your career and the opportunity and things to just happen to you. You have to have a plan and a strategy in order to do that. And it has to be tactical, it has to be realistic, and it also has to take into consideration what we spoke about last week, your core values. Because if you don't allow your journey to be steered or guided by your core values and what you really want to stand for, guess what? You are going to get into a role, and that role is, whether it was chasing money, I'm raising my hand because I've done it, and I've gotten to that role and I hated it. I cannot stand it because I wasn't allow myself to be led by my core values. And in retail, and in any retail role, we have so many things and so many people that are vying for our attention. So many things, and we can get caught up in that attention, that we love that attention. We love being needed. We love being able to walk into stores and and have people kind of run up to us and ask questions. Some people love that stuff. And then they get to the point in their careers where they're like, hold on for a second. I haven't really thought about myself. I haven't really thought about what it is that I want. I've been giving so much of myself, right? The other piece about being a generalist is that we believe that doing our job is enough. I'm going to help some people with this one right now. This is going to help you right now. And I know this is a hard one to think about. That doing your job is enough, and it is. It is not. Doing a good job is not enough. It is not enough. I know, Steve, it should be. I come here every day. I put in this number of hours. I do this and I do that. I understand. But can I can I just be your friend for a second and just tell you that it's just not enough? You have to be better individually for who you are as a person, right? Good enough is not good enough anymore, especially in the realm of retail, where there are so many other generalists that are out there. And all these other generalists probably have 4 or 5 years more experience than you being a generalist. So they're better at being a generalist than you are being a generalist. Okay? So my job, and this is why I love doing what I do now. When I was a retail exec, I can have these conversations and tell everybody, you're good, you're being good is not good enough. I couldn't. I had to kind of toe that line. Dare I say, I'd said it in certain other ways. But that's why I love being able to have this ability to talk to you directly and to tell you that gone are the days of being a generalist. You have to be meaningful, specific. What do? You have to pick a horse. What are you known for? You have to be known for something. It is not good enough to be known to do everything. I never promoted people who were just good at everything. I didn't. I didn't. Here's why. They had to be able to do a whole bunch of really good things, understandably. But typically, I hired for specificity because I had a market over here that needed X, Y, and Z. I had a store over here that needed all of the things, but they needed this tone and tenure. They needed this communication style, right? Remember, those of you have listened to me or gone back and listened to the replay when I spoke about feedback, the 2 pieces of feedback that I received, where one was saying that I was too abrupt, the other one was like, "Hey, I love your assertiveness," right? I didn't realize the backstory. So you have to understand that there's some specificity that you need in your leadership journey in order for people to be able to decide where it is that they want to place you. How come John got promoted and he's going over here to this market? Because John has the ability to communicate vastly different than you do. How come Susie over here, right? Gets to go into this new role. Guess what? Susie has been able to create a persona, and this is a really good persona, in understanding how to be empathetic. And this team over here had a leader who was horrible. And I need Susie because I know Susie is known for being an empathetic leader that gets things done. And I'm going to move Susie over here into this role. Do you understand that? Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if this is resonating with you, if this is making sense. This is why the days of being a generalist are gone. And anybody that I coach, we focus in on understanding your unique leadership signature. Like, what is that? What are you known for, right? Everybody has a signature. Everybody has a signature that is uniquely theirs, right? Mine is horrible. You can't even read my signature. It's horrible. But it's every time I see it, it's mine. It's the same thing with you as a leader. What is your leadership signature? Okay, let's move it to the second one. Because this one here has hindered This one hindered me for the a large majority of my career. Imposter syndrome. You have to let imposter syndrome go. And I know I don't. It's either two camps. You're either one or two camps. Steve, I've never dealt with imposter syndrome a day in my life. Lies. Or the other camp, Steve, how in the heck do I let this go? How in the heck do I deal with this? What do I need to do differently? Can I just tell you? And I wrote this down and I added the last part to this. You have earned a seat at the table if you do the work. If you do the work. If you do the work. Can I tell us a quick story? So early in my career, I was getting promoted, and I probably told this story before. This is a massive part of imposter syndrome for me, and I'm just be very vulnerable for a second. Um, there was this, like, I was doing a lot of traveling with big wigs and things like that, and we got into these conversations about watches, things like that, and so I ended up having a really good year one year, and I bought this watch. It begins with the R and ends with the X. I'll just put it to you like that. And I was like, "Ooh, this is awesome!" So I'm on these jet trips. I'm talking to CEOs. I'm all this other stuff, and and I walk in, and then we're talking about watches. I had another amazing year, and I bought another one that, you're right. I ended up, cut to the end, I ended up having like 3 of these watches. And I am, please understand, I'm not saying this is not a boasting story. This is not a boasting story. This is an idiotic story. This is Steve dealing with imposter syndrome and not realizing that I had already earned my seat at the table. And I thought that an external thing like a massively expensive watch and gear that was going to really tell people, show people who I was. Now that is the extreme case. Some of you are dealing with imposter syndrome in other aspects of your life. Oh, let me finish the story. So someone told me one time, they said, how many watches do you need? And I realized that, and I was doing the work at that point in time in my life, and I realized, was like, wow, I allowed this material thing to validate, to try to validate who I was. Right? I did that, and it was a massive form that I didn't realize. I felt that if I had this or I had this, that I had earned a seat at the table. You have earned a seat at the table if you've done the work, if you truly understand who you are. What's to do next? What to do next? I'm gonna change. Oh my God, what to do next? Oh my gosh, I can't. This is irritating me. This is irritating me. And I could do this on the fly. This is what I like. This is what I like about going live. This is irritating me. All right, there we go. I think I got it right. I'm gonna check. I know you're probably like, Steve, I don't care, but I do. What to do next? Just a little something that was just irritating me. How are you responding? So those of you who have listened to anything that I've done around, of course, we have a book coming out, The Approachable Retail Leader, where we have a framework. It is a SMILE framework, and self-awareness, mindful listening, inspires trust, lead by example, and effective empathy. You're going to hear a lot more about this as we move into 2024. But the self-awareness piece, I don't talk about just the ideas around your strengths and your opportunities, right? Everybody talks about that, as it relates to that. I talk about self-awareness as it relates to your why, but also how you respond. How you respond. There is an initial response that we have as leaders to certain things that are around us or certain things that are happening to us or certain conversations that we are in, right? There is a filtered persona or filtered response. This is the one that permeates senior retail leadership nowadays. It is the idea that I don't want to offend. It is the idea that I have to filter my response in order to fit the status quo. I have to filter my response in order to be just like everybody else. We have carried these personas throughout our careers. This is why when I coach people, the first thing that we do is a decoding process, the 3-step process in our Make a Move process. It's decode, devise, and deploy. The decoding process is how do we become disruptive and be able to move away all of those things, all of those labels that have been placed upon us throughout our entire career, right? Meets expectations, high potential, you're amazing, you're this, you're all of these different things. But when you think about it, what are you? Who are you? What do you stand for? So when I think about imposter syndrome, this is going to free some people right now. When I think about imposter syndrome, when I think you're dropping what's that on Monday? Hey, Liberty. When I think about imposter syndrome, what happens, and please understand this, that feeling of inadequacy or that feeling that I didn't belong when I had to go out and buy those watches, what was attacking, what that feeling of inadequacy was attacking my filtered persona. It wasn't the core Steve. Are you following me? Give me a thumbs up if you're following me. When something is attacking you, guess what do? If you have one, you pulled up a shield. That shield protects you. That is the filtered persona. It's that shield that protects you and who you are from the rest of the world. You only allow a few people in. And so when imposter syndrome attacks you, it's attacking that filtered persona. It's attacking that thing that we have put out there in the world that everybody sees and that we actually have to uphold this shield, this persona. That is what imposter syndrome is attacking. It's not attacking your true self. It's attacking a lot of times that filtered response. Because if we truly understood who we were able to be able to walk in who we are. When I was able to do the work, I sold all those watches, and I realized that I had earned my seat at that table. I earned my seat at that table. Didn't matter. Now, was there fear in having maybe conversations with CEOs and board members? Yeah, 100%. I'm not going to sit here and say no. But what I realized was that once that fear went away, it was just Steve. And Steve can hold his own with anybody in the room. So you have to be able to let go of imposter syndrome if you want to move forward in 2024. This last one, I hope you're writing this down. If not, you can go and look at this on the replay, or make sure you connect with me, and we can have a clarity call. Connect with me in the DMs or connect with me at worthyretail.com, and we can have a clarity call as well too. So this last one, running out of time. I've dealt with this one for a large part of my career. People that are in a coaching program, they come in and they don't necessarily say it, but as we move through our conversations through session 1 to session 2, it kind of comes out. What are you running out of time for? Time for what? The underpinning for a lot of people is that we should be so much further along than where we are. Raise your hand. I get it. I've been there. Raise your hand if you're sure. No, just a commercial, right? Raise your hand if you ever felt like you were running out of time. It comes under the auspices that I need to be doing more. Why am I not there? Wherever there is. right? I used to how it actually manifested itself for me was that you listen to me. I any role that any company that I worked for, my job was to get promoted as quickly as possible to the next level. Period. Bar none. Didn't matter. It was like okay, got hired. Okay, 12 months later, 18 months later, I'm at the next level. It was a Steve mandate because I felt that I was running out of time to get to some level. And when I got to the next level, it's kind of like this is okay. Then try to move to the next level. I would build teams very quickly, and we would rock things out. We would crush it. And then it was like, okay, I got to hire here. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then we get to that point, and the market is running smoothly. I'm kind of like, whew, okay, all right, good. That was a fast 18 months. Now what? Now what's next? And what I realized was that I was really searching. I was really, and this is going to sound super like, like we're, holding hands and singing Kumbaya. But what it really felt like was that I was looking for meaning, like in my life. I was looking for that meaningful specificity in my life that I needed to be able to stand for. I was looking for belonging within myself, not with just in others, but like to truly belong with who I was, and to be okay with who I was, to give myself space to be who I was. I know, right? You're like, Steve, this is supposed to be about retail leadership, and we're supposed to be talking about sales, and we're supposed to be talking about planograms, or we're supposed to be talking about markets. Listen to me. None of that stuff matters if you don't do any of the things that we're talking about today. It just doesn't matter. I had to learn that stuff the hard way. I am here to help save you time. I'm here to help save you time, to help you increase your capacity so that when you think upon these things, when you think about all these things, when you move into your role, you can go and rock things out. I've done a lot of this legwork for you, and I'm continuing to do the legwork for you, so that way you can think about where you are and who you are differently, right? This is why I do what I do. This is why I love doing what I do. What do you do? What to do? You have to find the right thing and focus on the right things, even if it's not popular. Okay, we we have a tendency. We have a tendency, especially in the retail space, we find somebody who's doing something extremely well, and we kind of model that person, right? And we model their career. We model maybe what they say, maybe what they do, even what they wear, right? Go for me with the watches, right? And we get to the point where we become once again a generalist, because we are just doing everything that everyone else does, and we haven't kind of done the work that we need to do that's popular. Excuse me, that's not popular, or that goes kind of outside the norm, right? When I told people years ago that I had a coach and I was attending this conference, and hey, I needed time off to do planning for my life, or I needed to I wanted the company to pay for a coach, whatever it was. It was just like, really? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, what are all of those things? Like, why, it was almost this underpinning of like, do you think you're better than us, Steve? Right? Why are you trying to do all this other stuff? And I hear that. I hear that when I talk to people, because they want to do things that no one else in their market's doing, that their boss isn't even doing, and they're like, and they're fearful. They're fearful. I see it all the time. Even like when I coach people and I help them with their LinkedIn, like gosh, bios and different things. Oh, I want to make sure that people think I'm not looking for a job, or I want to make sure that it doesn't come across like I'm doing X, Y, and Z against this company. I get it. I get it. Those are the unpopular things. And half the time, Steve, I'm not even looking for a job. I just want to be able to express myself. I want to be able to post something that expresses my authentic self. Oh my gosh. Right? So even when it's not popular, you have to do those things. Listen to me. You are not running out of time. You are not running out of time. You just have to be able to focus with the time that you currently have. When you're running out of time, it's because you're doing too much, and you're not laser focused. Because I was just having a conversation, and we were talking about we were having a conversation with someone. Like Sherry and I were having a conversation with someone at dinner or at lunch, and we were talking about like the fact that they were trying to do all these different things, and like you're never going to get anywhere. Say you have 4 cars in a row, and you have to push them to a certain point, right? You have to push this car, go back, push this car, come back and push this other car, come back and then push this other car. Then guess what? You got to repeat that again. And you got to push this car, you got to come back and push this car. Instead of saying, you know what? I'm selling these 3 and I'm just going to have this one car and I'm just going to drive this one. And guess what? You're able to get to your destination a lot faster when you're able to do that, right? That's when you start. Because when you're running out of time, you feel like you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Listen to me. I am probably the co-chair of doing too much, the club of doing too much, which is why my word for the year is something that has actually been able to gonna help me focus in. So, oh gosh. I hope this has helped someone. I hope that I've been able to really provide some perspective on where you are and where it is that you want to go for 2024. These are the things that you got to let go of. You got to let go of these things. If you are holding on, let me just make sure. I want to here we go. If you're holding on to being a generalist, if you're holding on to the idea around imposter syndrome or this myth of running out of time, you got to let these go. They are going to hold you back. They are going to tether you to 2023. You are not going to be able to move forward in the intention that from an intentional standpoint, right? There has to be an intentionality with your leadership to stand out from everyone else, to be able to just to be the leader that you wanted to be, not the leader that others think that you should be, right? So stop being a generalist. You've earned your seat at the table from an imposter syndrome standpoint, right? And then also this myth of running out of time is exactly that. It is a myth. If you are focused in on doing the right things, if you're focused in on doing the things that are not popular, getting a coach, joining a community, connecting with someone that has more experience than you do, or just being able to talk to somebody about where you are, right? You can connect with me. We can have a clarity call. This will actually, and the call does exactly what it says. It provides that clarity. It gives you that opportunity to let your hair down. And I know I'm bald. It's a running joke. I get it. I get it. But the clarity call allows you to let your hair down with someone who's been there, someone who understands, someone who listens, but someone who actually provides, some perspective, gives you ability to new perspective on some of your stale and old problems that you've been dealing with throughout your entire career. If you want to be a part of something else that I have going on, it's a 3-in-1. It is a podcast segment. It's part of our private community, and it's going to be a private podcast. This gives you an opportunity to connect with me and ask me 3 questions around your journey, and then I ask you 1 question. Connect with me in the DMs if you're on LinkedIn, or shoot me an email. Go to our website, worthyretail.com, and you can send me an email. we have already have several people sign up. Actually, going to be recording some of those today. They have submitted 3 questions to me about where they are within their journey, and we're going to answer those questions. And we're going to provide, some coaching. It gives you the ability to kind of introduce yourself to kind of what that coaching experience would feel like. Because a lot of what I see is a lot of retail leaders, senior retail leaders, haven't had that ability to actually have a coach. They've had probably a mentor. Coaching is completely different. Coaching is completely different. I'm just going to tell you this right now, right? Challenging your assumptions, um, helping you think differently about where you are, right? And here's the thing, I don't have any other interest in other than helping you become successful so that you can be the best leader that you've always wanted to be. So make sure you connect with me and be a part of this 3-in-1 private podcast, that we have. These are going to be up in the community, and they're going to be a resource for people inside the community to actually go and access so that they can help with their own individual leadership problems as well. All right. So thank you for being here in this happy, amazing Monday morning. It's cold down here in Atlanta. I don't have the courage to do a cold plunge, but I did go outside. It's 31 degrees, 30 degrees, or something like that. I did go outside for like 10 minutes. I got shorts on and everything, and just like hanging out outside. That was my cold plunge, and it did wake me up, and got me prepared to provide the information for you this morning. So enjoy the rest of your week. Connect with me once again in the DMs over here on LinkedIn. Or at Steve at worthylg.com. I look forward to talking to you. Also, make sure that you become a part of the community we launch January 10th. Become part of the campus, right? I'd love to actually have you there. We're going to be doing more videos talking about what the campus is and, the benefits that you can actually, have for yourself or also for your team inside. All right. Have a great day and God bless.